All right. And hey, everybody, welcome. So, Terrie, go ahead and unmute yourself, if you will, and feel free. Terrie describes herself as a clairvoyant and spiritual catalyst, and I have found that to be a very appropriate title for her. So, Terrie, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to find your name when nobody's really doing what you're doing, and there's no category for it on any social media, which was kind of where it was when I started off. Um, my husband always says, if you were a stock and you didn't know how to name yourself, I would buy you because you're coming forward. So it's a little odd to try to name myself and what I do. Basically, what I do is read energy, which is actually, it comes with the body. So every one of you is doing it all the time. It probably was more aware of it as a child. And I don't recall that there was any adult that ever really validated that ever really said, oh, you really think you know what's going to happen to the next door neighbor? Tell us all. In fact, people just asked me to be quiet and not to say anything because it was embarrassing or whatever it was. So I've been living with it all my life, and I think everyone else does it too. A lot of people say, well, how can I learn to do that? And it's just like you already have it within you. Just notice when you have feelings or senses about things. And that's when it happens. And I'm pretty sure most of you have had those moments. So in talking about what's going on right now, this is a pretty, I think, from my point of view, auspicious time to be alive on the planet. And I probably could have said that over the last 10 years. But right now, there's actually a pretty big shift happening for the last 2 months. Things have been sort of dormant. That's not to say that you haven't been feeling things or going through things or whatever's happening in your life. But we have Mercury coming direct now, one of our planets, and we're sort of putting things together in divine order. So it's kind of like being in the chrysalis where things are you're kind of rebirthing yourself and not quite sure what you're going to come out of the chrysalis as. I always think the butterfly must be surprised when it comes out. But actually, I'm seeing this particular time as a kind of a final death of polarity or division. And of course, you still see it in the world. We have we have as many different realities going on in the world as there are people. And it's all happening at the same time. And I always like to use the analogy of a TV. You know, you can be watching a movie on one channel and get bored with it and pick up your remote and switch frequencies, and you're in a different movie. But the other movie is still going on at the same time. You've just switched to a different channel. And really, that's what frequencies are about. If you're in one frequency, you're in one reality. If you're in another frequency, you're in another reality or a different hologram. So we are at this point really pulling our power back from a sort of distorted masculine hologram that's been going on. And this is not in any way referring to men. It's just a masculine vibration that hasn't been put together or collaborating with the feminine, which it's supposed to do. And so it sort of has gotten quite out of balance in our world. So I like to think that the war is over and the battle is won. And now is the time for us to sow seeds for inner world peace. And this includes a rather large, huge DNA detox of stored emotional trauma in the body. And this is not often the most comfortable thing to go through, because as this energy is coming out of you, you often feel the fear or the chaos or the anxiety that this frequency brings. So I haven't found it to be often the most pleasant thing, but then I'm a woman and I birthed children, and I didn't find that to be hugely pleasant either. There's a lot of contracting, there's a lot of expansion, and going through the birth canal is, I think, I don't remember it, but I can't think that it was that comfortable even as a baby. So I think we're rebirthing a lot of ourselves right now, and this sort of emptying death energy, you might kind of feel like you're going through a huge healing crisis. I have lots of clients who are going through adrenal fatigue and muscle aches and rashes and brain fog and blurry vision and you name it. Some people don't go through that at all. So it just depends on your individual growth period as to what's happening. But basically, we are disabling the lower human processor or the false matrix or whatever you want to call it. And we are activating what I see as a diamond core processor. And I call it that because of the spatial geometry, the structural geometry that I see in it. It really has the diamond core, and it's free of karma. It's free of underworld influences or darker, denser influences. And it's really full of living light, and it's very crystalline. So I do see our bodies becoming more and more crystalline, and I'll just touch on that later. But the new Earth hologram, because we live in a holographic universe, the new Earth hologram or reality is actually overlaying the old one. And this will bring a permanent state of grace to the world. But in order for that to really happen, this state of grace, this frequency has to activate within us. We have to become that frequency. And in order to do that, we have to release the density. We can't really rise to that frequency and hold on to the density of anxiety and scarcity. Those are very dense energies. And I have found and I have seen it's very hard to access your own information while you're in them. You're kind of lost. You sort of lose yourself in a sense. So we're in the process of aligning with a new Earth grid, and that relies on a sustainable substance to survive. We have been living off of our Earth. We've been, taking from the Earth. We've been taking things out of the Earth and out of the sky and using them. And we're coming into a natural state where we are sustained really by the light from the universe. And that's what feeds crystals. Light feeds crystals. And we're becoming more crystalline, and we're becoming more fed by light. And I think that it takes a collective, all of us. We're the ones we've been waiting for. It takes a collective participation to actually uphold this new reality, this new hologram. So each of us that are coming forward to do this, and I can't think that this group is not in that mode, because you probably wouldn't be attracted to microdosing if you weren't interested in expanding your thoughts and your perspective and whatever. There's an internal homing device that is in each one of us that is here to do this. It's kind of embedded. We have embedded star codes, I guess I'd call them, something like that, to blindly find our way back to the frequency of love and grace, because there are no directions. Nobody handed me a set of directions about how to do this, which made it a little scary and really pulls you in many ways to live in the present moment. You have to be with what's happening. You have to be with your body. So these, we had to inherently know kind of what home felt like in order to find it again, in order not to lose our way through the dark, so to speak. And we actually are becoming living crystals. I kind of thought back to when my brother and I made crystal sets when we were young, and we're broadcasting out frequencies with our crystal sets. And this is basically what we're becoming. We're becoming these living crystals that are required to pulse these frequencies through the grid. And this sort of answered a question for me, because I kept thinking, why am I here? And now I understand that it's this physical incarnation that we've gone through was required for maybe the divine plan. We actually need to be broadcasting this frequency to hold the new world, the new hologram together. We're the ones actually doing it. And it isn't an effort, and it isn't hard. It's just, it's pretty effortless actually to do it. And when we get off course, or we think thoughts that aren't allowing us to hold that frequency, it just plain won't feel good. Because when we're letting go of these densities, the denser energies that we're letting go of, what's coming back into us is this whole felt sense of feeling. And the heart communicates through feelings. So the feelings will guide us. I like to think of it as a no-brainer. You don't really have to think about it. You will just know what to do. And you'll know by the way you feel about it. It'll feel good. And when it doesn't feel good, you're not likely to want to do it. And definitely not for very long. So now that we're finally stepping into this new Earth hologram, or this new frequency, we can actually participate in it. We can actually become it. Because I've been feeling like I want to be in the world, but not of it. And now I think it's going to be possible for me to be in the world and be of it, and be actually what it is. So we're moving our attention, which I personally feel is the most powerful force we have. What we put our attention on grows. And when we put our attention on fearful things and we're distracted by our own fears, we're literally putting our life force down a rabbit hole. It doesn't come back to us. We end up feeling exhausted. And now we're becoming more aware of where we put our attention. And we're moving it out of highly competitive areas and hierarchies and struggles with scarcity and fear. And we're directing our attention, feels more, I think, stronger for us, and more sustainable for us to be doing things that feed us and nurture us. So things like collaboration or cooperation or real communication, being authentic and being transparent. I can remember watching an interview with Meryl Streep, who spent over a year training to become a certain person. And when we take on different personalities to keep ourselves safe or to impress people, we're using our life force to do that. So one of the things that can happen for us is that we can just become ourselves. Wherever we go, there we are. We don't have to be a different person around family or at work. We can just be ourselves. That saves us a ton of life force. So, I would say that as we move into this more collaborative arena, where we are working together, where we are working for our betterment and for the betterment of all, is going to be a lot more fun. And fun is actually a really important word, because when things work together, like male and female energies, or as I see them, electrical and magnetic work together. I mean, back to my childhood when I made that nail that was a magnet. It was amazing what you could do when you put them together. So when male and female energies are working together, actually it's the feminine who leads the way, because the feminine is coming from the heart and makes choices that are for the good of all. They don't make choices. The heart doesn't make choices that are not for the good of humanity. So when the feminine is now being needed to speak up, and I'm not just talking about women, I'm talking about the feminine in all of us, the part of us that nurtures, the part of us that knows what's best, the part of us that is really out for a win-win rather than a win-lose. So that feminine vibration is needing to step up, is being asked to step up, and is being drawn to share perspectives and values that are for the common good. These will indicate for us new ways, new areas, unfamiliar roles, and it will seem softer. But the feminine is not necessarily just soft. The feminine has incredibly hard boundaries. And when people step over it, or when decisions step over it and they're not for the common good, the feminine actually brings down the axe, can be very strong in setting boundaries around this. So we want to know as human beings how we can support ourselves, how we can care for ourselves with changing roles. And it isn't hard to do. We really just need to say yes to what we're drawn to what feels good. And really, it's not more difficult than that. Self-care or balancing your life, whether you're a man or you're a woman, doesn't just mean for women getting a massage or getting your nails done. It means balancing your life, and being of service to yourself as well as others. It's really critical to do that, because we are becoming self-sustaining in the way that we use our energy. And when we choose to do things, when we make decisions that nurture us, we are literally feeding ourselves. We are not putting our life force down a rabbit hole. We are actually feeding ourselves. And I think as we become more crystalline, we're going to discover that a lot of what we need in terms of nurturing humanity or the human body is actually going to come from light. And so some of the issues that we're looking at on the planet in terms of a shortage of food or shortage of energy, there are going to be a lot of amazing solutions for that, that we're not, the solutions that we're not being given yet, but are coming. Because when we have that much life force, we're not trying to be someone else. We're not trying to sustain ourselves and be in survival. We will have so much creative energy, and that's where it's going to go, into creating. And I have always seen that the way out was not the way in. A lot of our systems today are not sustainable. They're not win-win situations. And we have a host of people coming up on the planet that are using their life force in many creative ways and collaboratively. And when I listen to the news, or at least the cable news, which I don't listen to a lot of, you wouldn't think it was happening at all, but it is happening. I know people all over the planet that are coming up with amazing creations, and we're going to be part of that. So I think what you should consider for yourself going forward, whenever you make a decision, is it a win for you? Is it a win? If it's a win for you right now, it's probably a win for everybody, because the people that are moving forward with this new frequency they're not selfish. They probably have never really been selfish. So you want to just be sure that things feel good to you, and that when you do something and you put your energy into something that feels good for you, it's going to be a win-win. This is the only way we can really pave the way for the masculine to match the feminine and follow us and work together. So I think the age of polarity, while it's not completely over, is done. And it's actually, we're going downhill with that. So we're not going to see huge gains made by people that are preaching polarity or preaching division. We're going to see that have less and less power, And the reason it has less power is because we're not feeding it. It's just as simple as that. So remember that it's not what you say, it's what you do that counts. And action speaks so much louder than words. So remember that you're really becoming a broadcasting agent, a radio tower, if you will, for a collaborative, transparent reality coming forward on the planet. And it can feel a little bit scary, and it can feel strange, like you don't know what you're doing, because honestly, you don't know what you're doing. And you just want to be comfortable. You want to get comfortable after a while, not knowing what you're doing, because you do have that inner, that sort of inner, those inner star codes that are guiding you, and your feelings are opening up more and more. And pretty soon you're going to know what you need to do. And no one is really going to be able to tell you otherwise. And when you have your own knowing to that level, you're not manipulable. People can't sell you on something, or they can't scare you to death, or they can't do a number of other things to get you to give them your attention, your life force. So we're kind of in the incubation stage of becoming sovereign, knowing our own truth, standing by it, and not giving it up for anyone, because we know it to be true. We know it in our hearts, we know it in our cells, and we're not going to, it's not going to be taken away from us. So I think we're beginning to see this somewhat in the world of business. People are standing up, they're speaking up, they're acting in a manner that just honors humanity and inspires us. And each one of us will do that in our own way, because we're part of a giant puzzle here. And each of us is a really critical, important piece of that puzzle. And no, you may not be, running for the presidency of the United States, or you may not be speaking to thousands of people, but you have a very important part, and your role in that part is crucial. So I just encourage you to do what you're drawn to do. I encourage you to do what makes you happy. And for those of you out there that are women, I encourage you to have more fun, because we haven't really been modeled with many women that are really showing us how to have fun. They've always had to take a lot of abuse with it. The more fun they had, the more abuse they probably got. So I often think that a planet of happy women would be the most amazing thing in the universe, because I can tell you, when I'm having fun, my husband just wants to be with me all the time. I can't get rid of him. And when I'm grumpy and what else, he just wants to get on his electric bike and go flying. So it's an amazing thing for the feminine to be out and moving, and he has it as well. He gets very creative, and when that side of him comes forward. So my advice is, if you're drawn to microdosing, you have answers there, and you have a world that's expanding and opening you up. And as you come out of your chrysalis, just don't be surprised with what you see. It'll be amazing, and share it with the world. That's your job right now, is to share who you actually are authentically with the world. And I encourage every one of you to do it. Would be happy to entertain any questions that you might have for me, things you might want clarity around, things you personally might, or on a bigger standpoint, because every question in a group relates to everyone here.
Beautiful. Thank you so, so much, Terrie. I just have one reflection and then I'll open it up to the group for reflections and questions. I just wanted to reflect back, Terrie. So this was probably 2018 or so. I went to Terrie and it was just one of those moments where I was feeling really discouraged by what was going on in the country and in the news and in my own world, and just feeling very daunted with what was possible. And Terrie had given me the advice that, it really, over the course of history for humanity all time, it has never been the majority. It has always been the minority that has created the change and in eras. And as we approach this change and shift in eras, our job is not to kind of take everything on at once and get overwhelmed by things. Our only job right now, this was a couple years ago, was to make ourselves visible, to make our light visible. And by making our light visible, all of the lights all over the world can find each other. And the only way we can find each other is if we make ourselves visible. And so fast forward, I just want to reflect that now, because that for me, that has been my guiding light since that time. And I have really seen this in the way medicine work, particularly mushroom work, has evolved over the last few years, is people who are these new humans, if you will, the future humans of how humans will be, what humans are capable of becoming in our becoming. So thank you. I just wanted to reflect that back to you,
Oh,
because that has
yeah.
been very, very meaningful to me over the past few years, particularly in those moments of feeling very discouraged by what seems to be the status quo, and to look ahead to where we're going, not where we are. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for remembering that. It is always usually, it only takes what is it, Margaret Mead? It only takes a small group of dedicated people to change the world or change something. And I think that there were a group of us, a very large group of us, that really came to the planet at this time, because the vibration that is holding the future of our planet is being held within our bodies. We are the radio towers that are doing it, and it couldn't happen without coming through humanity itself. It couldn't happen by putting up a post with a little, monitor on it beeping out different things. It had to actually come through humanity. It had to come through humanity itself. And that is basically what we're doing. We are I mean, it sounds a little new age, but the pillars of light. We are the crystalline pillars that are vibrating in this new vibration. And it inspires others. It opens others up. It's not a job, however, to open anyone up. You don't have to go out teaching someone or convincing them to do something. Everyone has their own time and frame and what they're learning, and it may not be the same as yours. All you have to do is be yourself and do what you're drawn to do. It's actually very simple, maybe not always so easy, but I think it will become easier and easier, because it will become more and more uncomfortable for you to do something other than what you are drawn to do, to the point where you won't even consider it. Because when you have a thought, it's a vibration. And when you have that vibration in your brain or in your thought, in your mind, your water, which is highly programmable, actually picks up that vibration, and you'll have an immediate feeling like, oh, don't want to do that. And it's the vibration that it's not a match for you. It doesn't feel good. You won't want to do it. And that's why I say it's really will become a no-brainer. You don't have to really think about it or make a huge decision, or you'll just know. You'll just know what you're here to do. It'll become easy. very easy, and it'll become simple. And all amazing things that are in the universe are relatively simple. They can be very complex to explain or to transfer the information to someone else in a way that the mind can understand it. But really, the way it works is simple. So thanks for remembering.
Yes, love it. All right, let's open it up. I just switched us back so we can see all of you. So does anybody have a question, reflection, or Tara, are you up to reading energy too tonight? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. All right, who's first?
Oh, it's a shy group.
Oh,
Here we
that's
go.
a first. That just needs a first. Heather, go for it.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that. That was amazing. I have a couple of sort of burning questions, and one of them was about purpose. So I feel like in a lot of ways you really kind of answered that. But if there's any like details you might sense about more specific, where, where to fit in that. And also my burning question is actually, well, it's kind of selfish, but it's about geographic location for my specific self. I am sort of in a brand new start and looking for where to live and make a home for myself. And I don't really know where that is yet.
All right. Well, first of all, I think the important thing about what you should be doing is we should all be having more fun. I'm serious. I remember my son, when he was 5 years old, said, "Gosh, Mom, I think the highest spiritual goal is having fun." And I agree with him. I agree that really we're here to, and having fun can be working on something, it can be creating something, but you should be doing something that feeds you. And when you do something that feeds you, it's fun. And it might be work, but it won't seem like work at all. The second thing about your geographic location is that if you're not sure where to go yet, it's because you're not sure where to go yet. And that means that it hasn't come to you yet. You're not ready. So you're fine where you are. And it's just that burning thing that the mind can have, like, I should know now so I can start working on it, or I should be doing something about it. And that's not really the case. You actually should be doing what's right in front of you. You should be in the present moment. There are always lots of things for you to be doing that are right in front of you. And that's what you should be doing. And your mind just might think it's not important to do that, or it might be judging it. The mind is all full of its own ideas, but actually what's right in front of you is what's supposed to be right in front of you. And that's what you should be doing. And as you do that, it's those small steps that we take that unfold the larger picture and the larger steps. So when you just keep doing what's right in front of you, you're going to find out where you're supposed to be. And those messages or those directions are still coming in. They're coming in right now. So just do what's in front of you. I know it sounds sort of trite and maybe not interesting, but that's actually what you're supposed to be doing. You don't have to look around to see it too far. It's right in front of you. So look around your life right now, whether you want to be in the garden, whether there's some things you should finish up and tie the strings on. Yeah. Whether you want to clean out more because maybe you will be moving, but you don't clean out because you want to be, because you think you're going to be moving. You clean out because it feels good to clean out.
I actually do have to move. So that physical reality is right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's coming. I think it'll come. And I think just be open, keep yourself open to where you should be moving. And sometimes You don't know where you're going to move, but life just handles itself in a certain way that it moves you in that direction. So sometimes you choose to move, sometimes it's just the energy that will move you, and you have to move with it.
Thank you.
When do you have to move?
Like as soon as possible. So
Okay.
I have an RV. I could be on the road for a while I'm figuring it out. That's kind of sort of what's right in front of me. I have an RV. So
Yeah, it could actually be that you will travel someplace and know the minute you get there that
that's
this,
what I'm hoping. Yeah.
yeah, it's not a miracle, believe me. And it's not random. Trust yourself. You actually, get in your RV and go where you're drawn to go. And believe me, it will come to you. It looks like it's right there.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Amazing. Carrie, do you want to, I saw your note in the chat. I have the same question, but do you want to ask it live?
Actually,
Hi.
I have, hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your talent and your energy and your inspiration to the rest of us and your service. Thank you. I actually had two things. As you were talking, I came into this session with something that's been heavy on my mind. I try not to pay attention to the news, but the debt ceiling and all of that is all I want to say. So I wanted to ask you about that. And then I thought, you know what, if you're going to give readings, I would love to know if there's anything I need to know that I don't know that I would love to need to know. The situation, you know what, you can actually do whichever one you'd like first, if you're willing to do both.
Well, as far as the politics go, I pretty much view politics in general now as being a giant, fearful distraction from what's right in front of you. It's very fearful. It reminds me of an ongoing soap opera that has just a tiny new twist to it every day that keeps you, or can keep you, I guess, glued to the screen. I think most of what's going on politically will resolve itself. So I encourage you not to get too involved with that. It's not something you have control over. So it's a lot of your energy going down one of those rabbit holes. And I do think they'll generally, across the board, the political situation will take it right up to the edge and then resolve itself in some way. We're not going to implode. I mean, the country is not going to implode. And I encourage you really not to worry about it. I think it will resolve itself. I know it will resolve itself. And was your other question something that you don't know that you need to know?
Well, so availing myself to lots of this across my lifetime, sometimes I just say, hey, what am I not paying attention to? If there's an opportunity for somebody to read my cards or something of that nature. Lots of things are moving. I'm feeling pretty good about life. I'm feeling more directed than ever. And I'm actually shifting gears from the swim lane I was in. I heard you say loud and clear, if it's not giving you a good feeling.
That's right.
Yeah. So I might have a branding problem. I'm not even worried about it.
Please don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. I just wondered, is there anything that I'm not seeing that you?
No, actually the energy around you is moving really well. I'm not seeing anything stagnant or stuck or not moving or problematic. Your energy is moving really well, and you're kind of allowing yourself to move with it. I'm not really seeing you in your own way much at all. As soon as you sort of hit a bump or you get worried about something, you create something to distract yourself away from it. That's more important and kind of prevalent to you. I mean, it's important that you do it. So I'm seeing you keep yourself on course. I think it's pretty hard to get you off course. You still are working some pictures and energy about survival, about being able to survive comfortably, and also some perfection about making you worry that you might make the wrong choice. And that's not going to happen. So if you're worried about making a choice and you don't know what to do, it's not time for the choice yet. You'll make the right choice when the right time comes. Yeah, just don't be so hard on yourself and don't think you should know everything, because there's not a lot you know right now, and there's not a lot you're supposed to know. You're not supposed to be getting in your own way. So when you think you know what you're supposed to be doing, you can really get in your own way. When you think you know how it's supposed to happen, or maybe something's supposed to happen like this, or things are supposed to end up like this, or I'm supposed to know this yesterday, you're getting in your own way. So you look actually really good with your energy. I would just say keep doing what you're doing and keep following your nose, and you're going to end up in a really good place for yourself. You're really headed in a good direction, and you've really let things flow. You know, when you have a sense that something's not working, you know it's not working, and you start to move away from it immediately. So I
Thank you.
think you're doing great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Was that a hand I saw?
I think Linda had a hand, and then Corey. Yeah.
Hi, Terrie. I got the pleasure of seeing you the last time you were on here. I think it's like a year ago, and it was listening to you. Yeah, thank you. My question is, wow, it's been so transformative for me in the last 2 years, and I've got so much stuff unfolding forward. Exciting, wonderful. My question is, I always get a little wrapped up in when, you're focused on what brings you joy, what brings you fun. And then when that intuitive part comes in versus fear versus not supposed to do it, like, is it intuition telling me I shouldn't do it, or is my fear telling me I shouldn't do it and I need to get uncomfortable and go through it? I get caught up in that all the time.
Right. Well, that's really the transition that we're in. And that's why we've been going through the process of releasing a lot of its ancestral programming. It's quite dense. It actually, you get imprinted in your mother's womb. And so we have all these survival programs. And when we move out of them, we're actually bucking a very long habitual program telling you that you won't be safe. And so the thing that I always recommend when that happens, it's you're a human being, and the being part of you can change in less than a blink of an eye. But the body is incorporated into time and space, and it takes time for the body to change. So this rebirth that's happening, it actually takes time. So I always recommend when people are going through a transitional sort of push-pull, like you're describing, I always recommend that you remember that it's the body going through this. It's the body that's feeling this stuff. And it's very important for you to be developing a close relationship with your body. We can talk about finding your soulmate, but your body is your soulmate. You're not here without one. And what's happening right now is you are in process of developing a different relationship with your body, really behaving as one. And so ask your body, tune into your body. What can you do to make your body feel more comfortable? How can you shift your focus out of the fearful situation or the fear part of what you're in, and move your body in a way, or do something with your body that will help calm it down? And I really encourage everyone here to really get to know your body. Their bodies are very different. And in any given situation, it won't always work to meditate. I know some people that meditation doesn't work for at all. Some people have to move their body, and they have a moving, they'll dance or they'll do something else. You need to get to know your body and what actually, when your body needs a break from the energy, what can you do to help your body? And it might be different every time, but probably not. Some bodies don't require a lot. What bodies really need is sunshine, water, they need sleep, they need good food, they need laughter, they need movement. It's confined, I mean, there's not a lot. So find the things that your body enjoys, and sometimes just getting your mind out of it, because it's your mind that's wrapped up in it. The fear comes out of the mind. So maybe do something to refocus your mind. You can watch a television program, you can read a book, you can be with a friend, do something, refocus your mind to get yourself out of it. And when you can do that for your body and you go back, you will find there's a lot less fear and a lot more clarity about what you want to do.
Thank you, Terrie. Appreciate it.
Corey was next, and then Elizabeth.
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
everybody. It's super nice to meet you. I'm so excited. Okay, let me get calm and think about it. Okay, so I really I felt like I really resonated with a lot of the things you said, and a lot of the reasons I started microdosing was because I sort of felt like a plateau in life, and I was really, really craving like this next level experience and just feeling unclear of the direction and like belonging and things like that. And lately with the medicine, I really have been trying to like, keep my like heart and things like that open, and just like really bring in that feminine energy. I've actually been asking like, how can I lean more into my feminine energy? So I don't know if I really have a question, but I felt really connected to a lot of the things you said. So I just wanted to hear what maybe you
Okay. Well, for starters, I would tell you that actually you don't have to try to do anything. You don't have to really put effort into it. You want to look for things that are more fun in your life. If you have more fun, you're really upping your feminine energy. It really, I know that there's the old saying, girls just like to have fun. Actually, everyone likes to have fun. Everyone. And when people are having fun, it's so contagious. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to do it. You just have to watch children, and at some moment, someone's giggling and everybody's running over there. Like, what are you doing? So I would just say, look toward having more fun. The process is going to happen for you. You're going to be coming together and creating, rebirthing yourself without any effort from you. You don't have to do anything. But as I said before, it's really the body that's going through it. So having your attention on your body and making your body more comfortable and listening to your body and what it wants, that's a really good place to start. Having more fun, doing things your body enjoys doing and not doing things it doesn't enjoy doing. I think there's not really a lot of effort here. You really just want to be choosing things that you're drawn to. This is going to happen with or without anything you try to do. You're already on your journey. You're already doing things you're drawn to. I would just say, be sure to keep fun and laughter and having a good time and creating fun memories at the top of your list.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's not It's not going to be difficult this time around. We just have to reorient ourselves. We're so used to pushing and trying hard and, you know, no pain, no gain. That sticker just needs to come off the bumpers of cars. It's not true. It's not going to be true. And it's not true anymore for those of us that, you know, for whom it doesn't work.
Mm. Okay, that's great. Okay, amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. I love it.
No,
I'm a fan.
I feel that. I feel all of that.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
You look
Elizabeth?
like someone who could have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Truth.
I would think it
It's-
should not be hard.
It's like my number one priority. So now I'll just lean into it even more.
Right, exactly. Perfect.
And then I'm on my way driving to Angie's, and we're about to make the most incredible memories. So it's really in line with a lot of what you just said. So I'm really
Right.
excited.
Yeah, you're already doing it.
Cool.
Pat yourself on the back.
Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Cor. Elizabeth, you're up.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Terrie, for being here. Really appreciate it. My question is, I think a little bit more general. I'm just wondering about your thoughts on embracing and befriending discomfort in these times of change and transition and evolution. I've found certainly since starting my relationship with plant medicine, that I've really had to think about my relationship with discomfort, and that the process of becoming is one of enduring and embracing discomfort. And I would love your thoughts on how to make that work.
Well, I think our training, I think I can put it that way. Our training, or at least my training, was watching family and people at school go out of their way to avoid any kind of discomfort. They would, cheating, lying, whatever that was necessary, anything to avoid it. And so I feel like we were, or I can only really talk for myself. I feel like I grew up with a lot of judgment about discomfort and a lot of judgment about things that didn't feel good. And, as I sort of expanded myself, I realized that as a human being, I'm designed to feel all sorts of emotions and feelings. And that when I try to hone in on just a few and resist the others, I guess that old saying of what you resist persists, that actually the discomfort becomes stronger and you create more discomfort because it's not natural. So you as a spirit, you want to incorporate everything about being human. The reason that we come in to take a body is to feel, to have emotions. And then we start to resist the emotions that we're feeling, and we literally are going to war with ourselves. So I don't know, it's an unlearning, I would say. It's a discarding of some programs that we grew up seeing. I certainly remember watching television programs when I was young and looking at these family programs and thinking, gosh, this isn't my family. My family doesn't come to the end of 20 minutes with everything resolved. In fact, we often don't resolve a lot of things. And so then I felt like there was maybe something wrong with me or something wrong with my family, Or when I grew up and I was married, I thought, am I supposed to create a family where there's no discomfort? And discomfort is part of life. Feeling sad and having grief is part of life. And when we don't allow ourselves to feel those things, they persist and they become nasty and huge. And so what I have come to in my life is that I don't know if I can honestly say I embrace all feelings, but what I do try to do is feel them. I allow them to come into my body and feel them, and that way I can actually process them and they can move on. So I would say relax, enjoy being a human being, enjoy the opportunity to feel all of the emotions that we can feel, and know that some of them are going to be more uncomfortable than others. But the more we can accept what is, the more things move. And pain is caused by energy that isn't moving. So just allowing things to move through you, really feeling the whole process that we've been going through the last couple of years has been about feeling pain because we've been releasing it. I can't say it's been comfortable. And I'm just as glad I didn't have a direction guide because I might have avoided it. So I think just accepting what is and allowing yourself to feel, to really be human, to be vulnerable, to be transparent. That's what being human is. And it requires courage. And sometimes it's a challenge, but that's what being human is. And I think I was given a bad set of directions when I was young, and it created a lot of pain for me.
Thank you so much. That was something I needed to hear. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Take care.
Who's next? Lauren, do you have any? Good to see you.
I love those earrings.
Thank you. I don't think I have any pressing questions. I'm just taking in everything, and I loved your I really I loved your description of the diamond, sort of the matrix that you're seeing. That's sort of just that energetic matrix. And I'm just thinking, I've just been feeling into that sense of I don't know. I don't have the words for it, but I appreciated you saying that. And just that I feel like we're moving, like that sense of denser energies moving, and that sense of other kind of matrices and other ways of connecting into the energy. And I'm with another group that we're playing a lot with our words and how the words are creating new metaphors and the power of that, which is really an old technology from forever ago, but it's but just really sort of holding that as just the power of like that simple. You've said a lot of things tonight, so I'm just saying them back to you, that I just appreciate sort of that simple can be complex and very powerful. So thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah, it's really one of the most exciting things for me is to just watch and see how crystalline people are becoming, how much light they are holding in their bodies. It is like, it just does things to me. It brings me to tears sometimes, because there's a deep knowing inside of me that this is who we are. This is home. And I think, my sense is that you're seeing that as well in your own way. You're actually seeing the rebirth of humanity. It's amazing. It's like worth being here for me. So thank you.
Terrie, can you speak a little bit on the shift of time? I know we talked about that the last time I spoke with you, about how the time being sped up, a lot of people were feeling, and metabolizing things more quickly.
Yep.
Is that going to continue, like the shifting and collapsing of timelines and our sense of Newtonian time going forward?
Yeah, I think we're heading toward a whole different concept of time. Time is much more movable than we now know. And we are going through timelines, which are really realities or really holograms. And sometimes we're going through several at once. So it's been, I think I could justifiably say a wild ride, the wild ride of Mr. Toad. It's been pretty wild. We're just transversing through these timelines, multiple timelines, sometimes at once. And so we have different different releases that are going on at the same time. It would be very difficult to try to write a book on it or put, identify even one timeline sometimes that we're going through. But time is moving through us more quickly, and we can handle this because now we're not slowed down by the thinker that needs endless time to, figure everything out. We actually can make decisions very quickly because we'll feel the truth of something and we'll know it. And we don't need a lot of time to figure things out. So it takes a little bit getting used to things moving so quickly. You feel like you have no control over anything. And in a sense, you have no control over anything, but you have control over everything. So you need to trust the divine plan of the universe, which is definitely there. Trust that nothing is random. Trust that you are being led where you need to go, and that you're not flying on a flagpole out in the wind, even though you might have days where it feels like that and you're just not sure what you're going to do. But eventually you'll understand that you're supposed to get in your van and head out of here, and you'll do it. And that's, that occurred to you and like, well, I guess that's the thing I'm supposed to be doing because it's my only choice that's here. Oh, I guess the universe is saying, get in it and go. So, just trusting your own knowing, it's really critical right now, trusting yourself, and it's incredibly empowering. And so, you'll have days when you can't tell one end from the other, and you'll have other days where you're quite clear, but there's more clarity coming, and there's more of that knowing that you have, that processor inside of you, that inherent star codes that we have that are leading us out of the dark. And pretty soon it's not going to be dark anymore. We're going to be pretty clear about where we want to go and what we want to do. And we will draw the people to us that we're supposed to be doing it with. So there's not a lot of effort. Your vibration is going to pull things to you. And now that the feminine can move, the feminine is a giant magnetizer. The feminine is a magnet. So when you don't have the feminine working, then you're grunting and trying to make it all happen. But when the feminine's on board, you're just pulling this stuff to you. And the masculine looks at your choices and goes, feminine says, this is the way. And the masculine says, okay, get off your rear end. We're going to make it happen. We're going to do it. And it'll feel great to do it. It'll feel wonderful. You'll have fun doing it. So it's a relatively simple process. I can't say it's been a barrel of daisies going through this, but I love where we're going. And I'm so glad to be a part of it. It just feeds my soul incredibly to be part of this.
Love it. Love it. Corey?
Hi, Terry. How are you?
Good.
Good. I just wanted to, let's see, I'm going to try to put my thoughts into words. I've definitely been experiencing everything you're talking about, and I feel like particularly the last 3 years I've been doing a lot of shadow work and really getting in and dismantling a lot of ancestral programming, like you said. And sometimes I just feel so like rapturous, connected to absolutely everything, and like it's just all clicking. And then other times I'm like, I just can barely get out of bed. I'm so exhausted. And I wonder if you had anything to say about, my intuition tells me, you know, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and that I just need to kind of flow with it. But I'm wondering if you have anything to say about that, or like generally, or for me specifically, if you're picking up on anything that might be holding me back.
Okay, well, I don't think I would put it 2 steps forward and 1 back. You're just moving forward. Remember, the body has to take time. The body is still in time and space. It still needs to process. And some of the energy that it's processing is pretty darn dense. And so your body, it can flatten you. That energy coming out, depending on how fast you're releasing it, and you will release it in a way that's probably pretty perfect for you. Some people just go flat out and get sick, and they're sick for 2 weeks or whatever. Some people can't do that or won't do that. And so they'll reach I wouldn't say even a plateau, but they'll step into that frequency, and they will just love it, and they will be enjoying it. And then there'll be another pocket of it will pop up to release. And so you'll feel like you're going backwards, but you're not going backwards. You're just pausing to let the body process and release that energy. And it can really be exhausting. That energy is so heavy. It's so dense. I mean, we're talking about frequencies like anxiety, depression, shame, guilt, whatever, went through the whole gamut of your ancestral line. We're talking about some really dense energies that can pretty flatten the body. So your body is talking to you, that your body is saying, I need rest. I really need rest. It's not saying, oh no, we're going backwards. I'm falling apart. It's just saying, I need rest. This is a heavy duty one. And that's really all it's saying. You're not going backwards. You're just pausing and allowing the body to process, so you can get back up to that frequency again. And you will basically be going to release everything that's keeping you from being at that frequency. So you're just kind of like a buoy right now, bobbing up, down, up, down. That's why some people refer to it as a roller coaster, but it's really just the body processing. So listen to your body and try and help it do what it's asking you to do.
And I also thought it's just coming to me again, what you said at the beginning about people experiencing things, and you mentioned rashes. And I had this mouth rash that was like persistent over the last couple of years. And I went down all the different allopathic,
I can
lanes to
imagine.
try to figure it out. And there was never anything for it. And I've wondered I'm like, is this some of that density just as it comes out manifesting visually, because it comes and goes? And I was like, is it food? Is it this? And I have kind of wondered if it was in concert with all of this energy that I'm like crying out and screaming out.
Right. So I'm more seeing it come around your communication channel, your the area of your body that's known as the 5th chakra, and your telepaths. You're actually really sensitive and really psychic. And you've accumulated a lot of other people's energy in your telepaths, and that's really what the rash is. So it's, I think there'll be an end to it. It's pretty uncomfortable, but there's a lot of anger, a lot of angry energy, and your anger is really helping to clear it. Your anger is just fine. It's not, but you've been around people that raged. And that it's just releasing. So it looks like it's releasing. It's uncomfortable, but it's not releasing so fast that like you couldn't eat or,
Mhm.
yeah. So you're really a communicator. You are really a communicator, and that whole thing is clearing so that you can really have your information and communicate what you want to communicate in the world, because you have a lot to say. You have a lot to communicate.
That's
Yeah.
very affirming. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Isfan or Katie, do you guys have anything?
Well, I'm representing the man in general, because I think it's just women. Terry, thank you for what you were sharing. I'm resonating a lot when you were talking about the body, because it's what we have.
Right.
We feel life in our body, not in our minds. And probably people have heard me talking about, I used to very, very drawn to a kind of therapy where you use the body to heal, inside and mind. And right now I'm feeling like kind of split. I got my mind who represent me, my work, eloquent, that you can talk and say and think. But at the same time, I feel that my body right now is not really going along. It's like needs to be protected, kind of fear, anxiety. So I need to work in that front, but also it's kind of hard right now looking for things that interest me in doing, and but that's the thing. I used to enjoy like playing tennis, and now I'm going more for, taking the sun force myself and take my son out of the video games than enjoying the sport, and that's probably I need to work a little bit on that, Terry.
Well, I have, I think what I'm watching my husband go through is very similar. My husband is an athlete. He's a wonderful tennis player and so on and so forth. And he's been going through a transition of playing tennis and being, wanting to win, or and that whole thing has been morphing for him, changing. He now goes and plays and wants to stay in the frequency of having fun rather than winning. And he's been on this road for a few years, and he's getting quite good at it. I mean, he'll come home from doing something with friends and say, well, boy, I really couldn't keep it today. I really just couldn't stay having fun and enjoying whatever. And I just got really angry. I was a better tennis player and they wouldn't hit to me. We were playing doubles and whatever. So I totally understand. I think the shift that we're having changes our perspective, and it doesn't, we aren't really not competitive, I wouldn't say, but it's a different, it's not about someone else losing and winning. It's really about having a good time and playing the best that we can play, doing the best job we can, and having fun with ourselves and not judging ourselves. And, if you're getting out there playing with your son, most kids, unless their parents are just really pushing them to be super competitive, will end up wanting to have fun. They will definitely end up wanting to have fun. So hanging out with kids is a great idea. I myself spend a fair amount of time with kids, and I find you cannot not be in the present moment with them. They will not like that at all, because they are in the present moment. So I think, I wouldn't say because you're a man that what I'm saying is any different for you. I think you want to do what you're drawn to, want to be patient for yourself to learn that, because you're literally rebirthing yourself. And so you're going to find that things you might not even enjoy, things you used to enjoy, or you might enjoy doing them differently. And having a good time with that. So give yourself patience. This is what I keep telling my husband, just have a little more patience. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. Being human is not about being perfect. It's about getting to know yourself. It's about getting to know who you are, enjoying your gifts with other people. And I kind of see you on that path. I see you learning to enjoy yourself more and learning to enjoy being around other people or situations and having more fun with that and having a good time and not be so intense about it. Yeah, I mean, you have a fantastic analyzer and you have a really good mind, and you're not going to lose that. You're still going to be, you're actually extremely creative. And I think if you just allow yourself the growth period that you're having, you're going to find yourself drawn in some areas. Some of them will be new and some of them will be expanded from things that you were interested in. But yeah, I too have gone through a period where I'm not sure I'm interested in anything. It's like, duh, I don't know that I'm really interested in doing anything right now. And give yourself some space with that, because you'll come around, believe me, you'll come around to finding things that you're really drawn to and finding ways of making things that you have been doing much more fun.
And you're right about patience. Yes, it's one of my weaknesses where I need to work on. Every time when I'm journaling, I remind myself that, the good thing takes time. And we have to be patient. Good things takes time to develop. I have to work on that thought pattern that is already ingrained in me from my probably whatever happens during my life. And I need to deprogram that things takes time. You have to be patient. And it's good because it reminds me, and the community also is good to share, because that people are in this path for more time than I am and still evolving, and reminds you, yes, so your time will come, things will change. Well, and not everything happens at the same time for everybody. But yes, that's a good advice. And also the other one about enjoying tennis just for the pleasure of playing, because I used to, I don't think I probably enjoyed before. I was more competitive.
Right.
No, I used to go and play and I want to win. And that's probably what drew me. I'm probably not interested in winning anymore, but then I need to find how to have fun. And thank you, Terrie, for that. That's a good reminder. Thank you very much for your insight.
One of the things that that's just coming to me while I'm listening to you, and it might sound silly. It's not silly, but if I were to, I don't give advice, but if I were to encourage you to a next step, I would say you should be laughing more. You literally should just be doing things that make you laugh. And you will, when you start to laugh more, you will start to move so quickly. So, for someone, I would say have more fun. You need to laugh. You need to just like break out and find things that make you laugh and, make you love, just enjoy yourself, really enjoy yourself.
Yeah, so sometimes I think I take myself too seriously, and probably, yes, I need to embarrass
That's
myself
possible.
more. And and deal with that. And because it's true. You got to the point, really. I never told you that, but you're right. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I prefer to practice 1,000 times before show up in a tennis court because I want to do it right. Instead of enjoying the beginning of doing something that you don't know, and you're gonna laugh about that, and then you're gonna
and God
be good.
forbid someone would laugh at you I mean, you need to, if they laugh at you, you're giving them a gift.
Yeah. Thank you, Terrie. You're right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tara, we have 3 more if you have time for 3 more. I'd love
Sure.
to go to Carrie first because she's probably falling asleep. We'll go according to time zone. So Carrie and then Katie and then Carmen, if that's cool. Are you free to hop on, Care? Maybe not. All right, we'll come back. Hey, Katie, we'll go over to you.
Hi, Terrie. Thanks so much for coming tonight. I don't really have a question. I think a lot of the things you said and everyone's talked about resonated. So maybe if there's any energy you feel from me, that would be interesting to me, but I don't know.
Well, you're not as shy as you act. You're actually pretty much a force to contend with. I think you're obviously a very nice person. And I think that's awesome. I think you're a beautiful spirit and very kind, but I think you have a lot to give, a lot to offer. And so I would encourage you to speak up, use your voice more. You have a lot to share, and you can help people set boundaries around things. I just would say, get yourself out there more, interact more, and you're a wonderful model, and you don't. I just want you to encourage to be as authentic as you can be yourself.
Mhm.
I would really just encourage you to be yourself. You just need to put yourself out there. I think a little more than you're doing, and it won't feel comfortable. It will not feel comfortable. Okay, but do it anyway, because you have a lot to share, and you're hiding it. Don't do that. We need you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I love that one. Thanks. Kara, do you want to try it again? All right, Carmen.
Yeah, I just want to echo back, Terrie, just what a beautiful call this has been. I've taken away so many messages, and your image that you see, the energy, the light that you're seeing in people. Oh my God, that just like lifted my spirits 10,000 steps. I wish I could see that too sometimes, but I'm seeing it through your words tonight, and I thank you for that. That just really was beautiful.
Well, I think you'll, what's happening is all of our abilities are coming on board. So we won't just see things, we'll feel them and hear them, and all of our physical attributes and all of our psychic attributes are all coming together, and they're working together because everything's becoming collaborative. The separation that we've experienced, that's ending. That's like over. So you may not see it, but you clearly can feel it. And so it's all going to come on board. Feeling it is just as good as seeing it. And when you feel it, you'll be able to see it. You'll just see the light in people's eyes. I mean, I can literally physically see this now. I can see there's a different light in people's eyes. There's sometimes a glow, like more of a kind of a golden glow to their skin. And that's just physical. I'm seeing it, and I see it wandering around, mixing with different people and I don't say anything to them, but I do see it. So just be open to that feeling, because it's a knowing that we have. It's within us. the knowing that we have. And it's going to, it'll change humanity. It'll change our lives and it'll change humanity. That knowing that we're coming into, that DNA, that information out of that DNA, it's always been there. That information has always been there. We just haven't been at a frequency where we could access it. We've been on the other channel. So just keep yourself open. I think you're going to have lots of wonderful feelings and wonderful awarenesses and wonderful openings. I think it's not coming, it's happening. Yeah.
Thank you. I do have one question for you.
Sure.
I continue to, I've been in a real period the last 2 months of a lot of emotional, release, just big releases. And you spoke a lot about the body takes time to catch up, and I'm most definitely feeling that. Do you have any words you'd like to share about how we can support our body in that process, and anything, perhaps if you see anything with me in particular, I would be so grateful.
Well, of course, I think it all starts with developing a partnership with the body, and that means listening to the body. And it's not always, your mind will have less of a voice in this as you listen to the body, because you'll think of something, oh, well, maybe I should do this, and your body's not responding. It's not going, oh, yes. So just be listening and feeling for when what you might be doing. Many bodies respond to something as simple as a bath. When you get in a bath water, it's grounded, and it literally can ground your body and help you. But so it really just is about listening to your body. And the other thing is a wonderful way to release, and of course I was just mentioning this, but a wonderful way to release energy. I mean, we can do lots of things like walk in nature and do all these wonderful things. Microdosing is an amazing way to release energy. It's an amazing way to expand the cells and everything else. The whole, your whole auric field can be just expansive and move around, and has permission to move with microdosing. So I think, if you're drawn to that, that works very well as well. But I cannot emphasize enough what laughter and having fun does. I can't emphasize it enough. You only have to watch people doing it, and everything opens up, and there's just incredible releases that take place. And it's not painful. I mean, people laugh until they cry. They are completely releasing. I think it's the most fun, amazing way to release in the world. So I would highly recommend looking for things that help you laugh and help you have fun. I mean, write it on a Post-it and stick it. Plan activities that you think are going to be fun for yourself. It's an amazing antidote. I know people say they've cured themselves of cancer from that. I believe it to be true. I think it can happen. So you look like a person that is very responsible, and I really admire that. And I admire how you look to be efficient and amazing, and a wonderful brain and everything else. And so I think you might want to focus on having more fun.
That's definitely been a huge takeaway for me tonight. Just to really, thank you so much, Terrie.
Yeah.
Thank you. Carrie tried to get on a different phone, but worst case, she texted me. Oh, there you are, Carrie.
Oh,
go for it.
Is she muted?
Yeah, we're having some tech drama tonight with Carrie. But I'll tell you, she texted me her comment. Sorry, Carrie, we still can't hear you, but Carrie did a one-to-one reading with Terrie, and she wanted to ask you and follow up about the beautiful reading that you two did. She said, since then, I feel like I have no filter at all. laughing. I'm
Oh.
just saying absolutely everything, and it's causing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, when you open yourself up to everything, everything can happen. And that it's not always comfortable, but you're really experiencing life. You're really experiencing being a full-blown human without filters. And, eventually you'll start to fine-tune it. Eventually you'll start to pull in. You don't want to experience everything. You'll start to get selective. You'll start to get interested in certain things, and you'll start to refocus yourself. So it's kind of like blowing the lid off, and then you just start to pull yourself in bits. So if she hasn't started to pull herself in, that's probably coming pretty soon, because we're getting directions and directed right now. We will be. So tell her to hang in there. No filters. Wow.
Will do. Will do. Thank you so much, Terrie. Just in closing, I know you can see us to a level that we cannot. So is there anything in anyone that you see, or in closing, that you want to share just more collectively?
Well, I always, whenever a group gathers together, there's always an agreement that's there to work on together. And this looks like a really a group that is seriously want to expand their awareness and to promote consciousness, but really expand their awareness of things. And so I encourage people in the group to share openly about things that are happening, because you're all catalysts for that in the group. And every single person is really important to share. So don't be shy about sharing, what's happening with you. It's important for the group to keep moving like that. Yeah, I think we have, there are a lot of amazing people in this group. So what's really interesting is how different you all are. You're really amazingly different. You come from different backgrounds. You have, different pictures about life, and even different cultural pictures. And so when people say that, we can't be divergent and get along, this group is a testament to the fact that you can be incredibly divergent and still move ahead together and appreciate each other's differences. And I think on some level, you're honing that skill, your ability to be yourself with people and not match other people to be liked or be accepted or whatever, just being yourself, and people just accepting all the differences that are in the group and moving forward with them and maintaining yourself, supporting each other and maintaining. It's really lovely to see it. It's really great to see such a diverse group coming together and really collaborating. It's awesome, actually.
Thank you so much, Terrie.